see through the lies? Can you see through the lies? Are you being lied to by people in your circle? Are you being lied to by yourself? What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel where I speak about self-sufficiency with physical, spiritual, and financial health. Today, I wanted to speak to you guys about seeing through lies. We live in a world of lies, especially if you live in a city. And I believe that as leaders, number one thing we have to do is fight for the truth. Build a circle around us of truth, but also be able to fight off lies when they enter our circle. I'm sure some of you might even feel a sense of lostness, and it's probably because there's a certain smoke, a certain veil of lies in your vicinity. So it's important to be able to know when you're living in a world of lies or when you're around people that don't even really truly know what's going on. It's important to see through the lies because as a leader, you're trying to cultivate a space of growth and a space of honesty, because in a world where you lie to yourself, or a world where you give your time and energy to people that aren't being honest with you, you're just not in control of your time, you're not in control of your energy, and typically something isn't morally correct somewhere along the space of work that you're currently in. I've worked with many different individuals in the past, and whenever I work with a leader that isn't completely honest with me, they're either manipulating people that they know, manipulating people in their environment, or manipulating themselves in order to stay in a lack environment or to stay in a world of comfort. Comfort is an interesting thing because, we want it. The body and the ego feels good in it. But comfort is a space where no transformation really occurs. And we have to be careful of what areas in our lives we accept fear. Because if we were truly courageous and we weren't leaning into fear, we would be courageous and allow the environment to change us and transform us, because we believe that the environment has our best intention and that we have faith and spiritual faith in the universe and God and Mother Earth. So that's my personal belief in that domain. And when, again, if someone is holding on to that veil and holding on to those smokes and mirrors, it's typically because they don't want someone to find out something, or they themselves are lying to themselves for some specific reason. So one thing you can do in order to really gravitate towards truth is to have a really great vision. It's really hard to even speak about routine or speak about surrounding yourself with the right network if you don't have a vision of excellence, if you don't have a vision or a standard that you are striving towards, and one that is better than what you're currently in. So having a vision, having something that you are reaching for, can really help you gravitate and take continuous effort towards that goal. So like as the days and weeks go on, you have this thought or this vision in your head that's constantly inspiring you to take action time and time again, because especially when you're starting from the ground up, it's very, very challenging to make any kind of progress because there's so little that you know, and you're really crawling out of the darkness on your own. And typically, there aren't many people that will really put us on their backs. And even if they are, we don't know how to really take full advantage of the help that those people provide. So a lot of that work happens on your own. I also know that if you do live in a city, cities are typically built on the backs of everyday people. So it's this concept, which I'm sure you guys have heard of, like the Matrix, where you sacrifice so much of your time and your creativity, your life force, for a very not worth it false sense of comfort. And so when you live in a city and you see so many people sacrifice their freedom and their sovereignty for, again, a few dollars, it can be very, very easy to rationalize this false sense of reality to yourself. I know firsthand that, especially when you allow yourself to, there's this concept of like people pleasing. When you allow yourself to fall so deeply in love with people in your environment, whether that be your family or people in your neighborhood or people at school, classmates or whatever. You really want to be close with them. You really want to be accepted by them. And when they too are being manipulated and convinced by the matrix to go down a path, you too want to go down that path just to stay part of your community, just to stay in your tribe. So you also have to be very conscious of the people that you're around and what lies they might be accepting in their reality so that you don't fall to the same traps. I know that a lot of my story specifically looked like just being able to have foresight and looking down the road and seeing what was inevitably ahead of me. And I realized that there were a lot of golden handcuff scenarios where you thought you had grasped something and accomplished something, but truly you just really had like one finger on it and it wasn't truly yours. And you were sacrificing your time, which is your greatest asset. Time is something that we have to realize is a very important asset, and we can't just hand it out to people for comfort. And when you realize that you can turn time into money and that you should be turning your money into more time, that's when you can really start to see through a lot of lies, because a lot of people will try to get you to sacrifice your time and your life force for, a few dollars. And it might even sound like a lot of money. And yes, we do have to turn some of our time into money, but you can't lock yourself into a ridiculously long agreement just for the sake of, short-term or a long-term comfort. So you have to ask yourself, well, what truly matters to you? And I personally believe that freedom of time, freedom of creativity is really, really important as well. And when you can keep yourself in a place of leverage and keep yourself in a role of freedom, you can continuously change and pivot into places that allow and cultivate that growth that you're looking for time and time again. It's very much a ownership mindset. And for example, I think for a long time, I was very interested in having a really nice apartment and renting a really nice apartment or buying a home, which is a great goal. But I've shifted my mindset into, how can I own land? How can I own the land on which I build a home, or the land on which I buy the house? So when you start to think from that frequency, when you start to think on the frequency of time being your greatest asset, when you start to think on the frequency of your energy and clarity being the true form of success, that's when you can start to really have the courage and have the standards that let you see above the lies. Because again, you got to want it first and you got to have that vision. When you reach this place as a leader, it's beautiful because then you can start to build and have ideas that come from a true place of abundance, which I think a lot of people do not build from. So if you have that vision, if you have the courage to make room for and to sacrifice from it, it's so worth it and it's so needed in reality, because then you can start to build ideas from a place of abundance. When I decided to build a company and to build an agency model, the part that I thought at a very early phase of the company that I was most excited for was the money and having an asset that would be a really great cash cow. But what I've come to really appreciate is to have an environment where I can teach, our team members to think like me, and to also create an environment where my team members can cultivate abundance in their own lives so that they can share with their families, share with their partners, and share with their community. So when you think from that place, when you make that place your vision and your goal, it can become a lot more realistic, and you start to attract that reality. And hopefully you do make space for it and have the courage to chase after it, because it's really needed in our community. Again, be careful of your environment. Be careful of the people you surround yourself with. Be careful of, you know, how creative cities can get and how creative companies can get, because they really just want your time and your creative force. So be careful on all those different things, but also know that your time does have to be turned into money at a certain fraction. But you want to turn that money into more time. So be conscious of the agreements, be conscious of the contracts that you do sign, be conscious of the long-term partnerships that you allow yourself to jump into. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Again, just wanted to put it out there because I think that so many of us in places of transition and in moments where we're thinking ahead, we set ourselves up for timelines that truly waste a lot of our time and can sometimes be catastrophic in terms of like our long-term goals. And it's how people give up long-term because they just sign on to the wrong timelines. So as you're thinking about what the next chapter of your life looks like, as you're thinking about what you're building for the future, be careful of the lies, be conscious of what you're truly building. Make sure that you're putting your energy and your time into something that you truly want to grow, and make sure that the energy underlying all of it is one that is truly abundant and is as courageous as possible. Surrender to the universe. You'll end up in the right space, but just make sure that you are rising up and not inevitably crashing down, because I do believe that there does come a point where it's almost like a point of no return, where, you know, you're almost like passing on the baton to another generation or another individual when you yourself can inherit sovereignty. So be the leader that your community is looking for, be the leader that the things you care about is looking for, and fight on and navigate courageously. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. If you guys enjoyed the conversation and would like to be part of it, please leave a comment. And if you're already, you know, not subscribed, please subscribe, as it also does help the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.